how to do freestyle and backstroke, tumble turns on the wall in swimming. Okay, so most pools have a line down the centre, and just before the wall they have a little T, okay, on the bottom, and when you see that T, that's when you do your turn. Okay, they also have a line up the side so you know where to put your feet. They roll in the centre. If you are living in Australia like me, we swim on the left, okay, and we turn, we swim on the left, and we turn on the right, and then go back out on the left. If you're in, say, America or Europe, you would be swimming on the right, so swimming on the right, but you would be turning on the left, and then coming out on the left. As I am in Australia, I'm going to show you how to turn on the right. Okay, so just before you get to the wall and do your turn, if you are trying to sprint really quickly, you probably don't want to take your last breath before you get to the wall. You want to take a breath, do a few more strokes before you get to the wall, and then dunk your head under and do your turn, okay? But if you're just swimming normally, not too fast, you can breathe on the last stroke before the wall and do your turn, okay? That's acceptable. So I guess we're sort of starting with more freestyle, and we'll go into the backstroke turns afterwards. So yeah, well, I've just talked about sprinting versus swimming normally. Take your last breath at the wall, or if you're sprinting, you should take a breath a bit earlier, do a couple more arms, and then do your turn. So, when you do a turn on the wall, you don't have to do great big arms. You can just leave your arms in the side and just use them to help your body roll around. But most of the momentum in turning is going to be this action of dunking your head under and moving your whole body down, and the legs, using the power of your legs to sort of flip your legs over. Okay, that's where the power comes from. That's the action. There's two actions. It's not really to do with the arms. It's more to do with your body and your legs. Once you do your turn, you flip over, you're going to put both feet on the wall, and you're going to be upside down. Okay? You're going to be in this position, and your hands are going to go into a streamline position. So if we pretend this is the wall of the pool, you would look something like this on your back. Okay? So this is for freestyle. Okay, freestyle turns, flip over on your back. But here's the thing, if you want to swim freestyle, do a turn, and then you want to swim backstroke, the only difference is that for freestyle you would do your turn, be in this position, and you would roll around to come out onto your front. Okay, swim freestyle. The backstroke, you would be in this position, and you would push off on your back, swim away on your back. That's the only difference. The only difference is feet are on the wall and you push off and you roll around. There's no different, okay? Just that one difference of rolling around. So we've talked about coming in to do your turn, we've talked about how to do the turn. We've talked about how to do a freestyle turn and come out swimming freestyle after you pushed off, and to come out swimming backstroke after you pushed off. But what about swimming in backstroke, doing a turn and swimming away backstroke or even freestyle. Well, that's a bit different because when you're on your back and you swing backstroke into the wall, you have, you want to know where the wall is because you can't see it. Well, in most pools, pretty much every pool, they have flags, which are about 3 or 5 meters away from the wall. Can't remember which one it is. But generally when I see those flags, it means that I've still got 3 more backstroke arms before I know that the wall's there. I'm going to have to turn over, okay? So as said, freestyle and backstroke turns are very similar. When you do your backstroke turns, talk about the flags there. I normally do 3 arms. On the last arm, I get to this position and I'm rolling over sort of onto my front, and when I get to this position almost on my front, I can almost touch the wall with my hand, but I don't. This hand goes under and I roll over, okay? It's the same if I was doing freestyle onto the wall, rolling over, and then I would push off, but as said, this would freestyle away, I would be rolling over the swim array freestyle, but instead of coming in backstroke, I'm rolling over, rolling on my side, doing my turn, okay? Another thing to keep in mind is that when you come into the wall, you see the flags, might do 3 arms on the last arm. Before you start rolling over onto your side, take a big breath on that last arm and then start the rolling process onto your side and then flipping over, okay? Just check to see if this thing's on. Alright, so we've learnt how to come in to the wall freestyle backstroke, we've learnt how to roll over, we've learnt how to push off the wall, and we've learnt how to roll over to freestyle or stay on your back and push off in this streamlined position and start swinging backstroke away. So let's talk more about once you've pushed off the wall, okay? Now what you want to do is, in the last video we talked about streamlining, okay? It's virtually the same. So once you've done that push off the wall, you start out on, you flip over, you start out on your back in this position. You either roll over and start swimming freestyle away, or you either start on your back. So you're in this position and you push off, push, and you stay on your back, okay? Now there is a few tips and tricks that are helpful for how to swim, push off and swim. Okay, freestyle, number one thing is you want to streamline up to the surface, and you want to get used to holding your breath, okay? You don't just want to do your flip and then come up the air and then start swimming. You don't want to do that. You want to push off, hold your breath, pushing, kicking to the surface. And when you get to the surface, it's important to not always take a breath on the first arm. You want to break the surface, do a couple of arms, and then take a breath, okay? When you're swimming freestyle. So you got to get used to holding your breath, okay? You can, if you want, if you're not doing a race or whatever, you can push off the wall, do your dolphin kicks, and then you probably can take a breath on that first arm, but it's not the most ideal way to do it. You want to do it after you, because when you break that surface, your hips are going to be likely too low. You want to get the hips up before you take a breath, otherwise you will slow down. I've got a really good tip for after you've turned, you've streamlined to the top of the surface, how to get your body nice and flat on top of the water, and that is to roll just a little bit. So I'll demonstrate. So do your dolphin kicks, you get to the surface and start kicking, but start to roll when you get to the surface. Do your arm, do another one. then take a breath. Okay, so instead of breaking the surface and starting to kick and do arms, break the surface, but then roll straight away. Roll when you get to the surface, and it's the same when you do backstroke. Okay, you're doing your dolphin kicks underwater on your back. When you get to the surface, your feet are going to be down under the water, and your head's going to be up here. Okay, but to get those feet back up really quickly, after you've done those dolphin kicks, you want to roll to your side a bit, and then start the kick. Okay, that will allow your hips to come up. Backstroke's going to be a bit harder because you've got to worry about the water going up your nose when you're on your back, and you're pushing off the wall. You've got to blow out and get to the surface before the water goes up your nose. So that'll be something to practice. But yeah, once you finish that dolphin kick and you're at the surface, make sure you roll and kick away, because that will bring your hips up. Once again, the same when you're doing freestyle, dolphin kick to the surface and then roll. Okay, roll first, don't just come to the surface and keep your body straight, because you'll sink. You've got to roll a bit when you get to the surface, freestyle or backstroke. Now, I don't know if that's freestyle and backstroke turns. Hope you have learned something from that. Just to be clear, in all these videos, because I'm trying to teach, when I'm showing you arms, I do have my head up, or even when I'm showing you kicking on the board, sometimes I'm saying, oh, put your head down, but my head's still not actually down. When I mean have it down, it's got to be down like this. It's got to be right under the water, okay? But not too far so your arms are right up, but it's got to be under. Now the next thing I want to make clear is when you come into the wall and you're touching the wall to do a push turn, or you're rolling under, and then I say, I'm saying, oh, you've got to push off like this. When you touch the wall, you've got to touch it in the same spot, and you want to have your feet pushing at that level. So you want to come into the wall streamline, and you push and you flip your body over, but then your legs are going to land at the same position. So you're going to be straight. Then you're going to flip. You're not going to be down here when you're pushing with your feet. You're going to be at the same position. Okay, so two things. So keep your head right down when you're kicking, when you're swimming, streamline position. When you're pushing off the wall, you touch the wall, or you don't touch the wall, you do a tumble turn and your feet land somewhere high up at the same position where you would swim. Okay, so just keep those things in mind.